Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video, as you can see, it's ombre, glitter, bling. It's cute. I love this set. It seems fairly simple. It took me and my mom a minute to get this concept together. It's, if I dare say it myself, it's very thought out. And I've never been probably more proud of like crystal work. And it's very simple, but just how it coordinates color-wise is kind of kismet in a way, just that I happen to have colors. Anyways, we'll talk about it more in the video. This is a Light Elegance video, just so you know. Love Light Elegance, high quality gels made right here in the US of A. So this is my mom's previous set, my client. This is our previous set. There's a video on this set. If you want to check it out, of course, go ahead and do that. Very extra, very fun. Yeah. So we have to start off by taking off the crystals. So I'm going to go in with the preppy bit. This is a Light Elegance bit, and this is not what it's intended for. But, you know, there's a lot of bits you can use different ways. I use it to kind of create a canal or a ditch around the crystals so I can use my nippers and grasp onto them. The crystals are very much sunk into the gel and secured, so it's hard to literally grip them because there's a smooth transition there, which also helps, you know, them last longer and hair doesn't get stuck underneath or on them. It does make it a pain for them to come off, but using this technique helps times a million. Absolutely. So if you can dig a little trench or ditch or something around it, you see how I'm able to use. These are just some old nippers that could never be used to actually nip any dead skin or anything like that. They're just for this use, to take off the stones that you see. I'm able to grasp them and get them off real quick. There's some few remnants of pieces. When I have that, I'll usually go back in with that preppy bit and kind of dig another little canal trench thing around it so I can grip onto the crystal better. So we did all that. I filed away the polish, as you can see, and I also took the product down some. And the reason was, on one hand, we're doing that encapsulated glitter. So we need to have space to encapsulate. So on her other hand, not the one I'm working on right now, it's taken down even further. This is still taken down some because it's going to be built with Ideal Pink, full coverage right there. I didn't want to have to use any polish or anything like that if I didn't have to. So now I'm going in with a Cutie Patootie bit, which is absolutely one of my favorite bits. And I'm using this at about 6,000 to 8,000 RPMs. I think I'm using it at 7 specifically, but in general, diamond bits on the nail surface, we generally want to be around that speed. If somebody has very, very coarse cuticle that's grown, you may want to turn it up to like 9,000 RPMs, but we want to make sure we're going with light pressure, holding it more flush to the natural nail. At certain angles, it looks like I'm not holding it flush, but I'm technically flush with it. It's just because there's curvature on the actual nail plate, of course. So this bit has those diamond burrs on the top, so it kind of helps push and exfoliate the eponychium and any dry skin you may find there. But we're also going to go in with the buffy bit at a later point and further kind of flake off that dead dry skin the best we can. Now I'm going in with the itty bitty bit. This is another diamond bit. You can use these diamond bits forward and backwards. This is one that I definitely like to use forward and backwards if need be, especially if you're a right-handed individual. That right side of the nail can be harder to reach and maneuver coming from, right to left, as you see me working from right side to left side. If we put this in reverse, we can work from left to right, which will make that right kind of corner and right side a little bit easier to remove the cuticle and things like that. So I'm just going in and getting that, going down the side walls, and it looks very, very aggressive. It's because it's sped up. I say it all the time. I did a video where it was real time. And somebody commented, like, you say that all the time, but I never realized how much a difference that speed makes. I'm like, yeah. When it's in real time, it's like slow and steady and carefully getting off the skin. Once it's sped up, it's like, yeah. So now I'm using that Buffy bit in reverse, as you can see, just flaking off the skin that I can and smoothing it out. I'm using about 7,000 RPMs. And you see, I started in reverse and went from left to right. And now I put the E-file in forward and I'm going from right to left. If you're left-handed, all this, of course, is the opposite. So you see, it's not perfect, but we definitely flaked a lot of dead skin away and we're in a better situation. I don't clip any live skin, only if it's dead hanging. That's state of Texas rules. So, I abide by them. So now I'm going in with the shaper bit, and it's a cross-cut bit, essentially. And I'm going in and kind of making the product more flush, getting any last-minute hangy bits. So this was a clip I put on Instagram stories of me and her trying to figure out. It was actually before we did all this, but that took probably a couple hours. So I'm going with Light Elegance Tack. I actually cleanse the nails with Light Elegance Pro Cleanser first to dehydrate, remove dust, and everything like that. So we apply tack, cure that in the light, and then I'm going in with Jimmy Gel, just the clear Jimmy Gel, and applying the thinnest layer. And I'm mostly focused on the natural nail, kind of just blending it down. There's a little piece that was lifted on one of her, like two of her sides of her nail, so I applied the Jimmy Gel there as well. Just because we're going in with our ombre art, right on top, it's going to be encapsulated, and I don't want it to touch the natural nail, so this is going to be a barrier between those colors and the actual natural nail for future file down. So I'm going in with Light Elegance's Jimmy Gel again, but this is an Ideal Pink, and this will be our nude type neutral color that will be on both of our pinkies. Both the pinkies are bling, so they'll both get this color completely. And then on her left hand, the hand with a little dot type design, all those nails are going to be Ideal Pink as well. I wanted a color that didn't conflict or really oppose the green and everything like that. And so I felt Ideal Pink would really do the job. I really like the consistency of Jimmy Gel. I know we talk about using Jimmy Gel, for shorter extensions and things like that. But I've done this several times on my mom before. You'll probably be able to tell by watching past videos if you watched them that I have done this. And she hasn't had any failure of her enhancement. So it hasn't been a problem, So I keep doing it. Now, my mom is probably my best client as far as taking care of her nails, to be honest. Not to say anything bad about my other clients. I love y'all if y'all are listening to this. But, her daughter's a nail tech, She wears her gloves every single time if she does dishes. She's using her cuticle oil often. You know what I mean? So it lasts her just fine. So now I'm going in with the buttercreams, and I'm using just white, which is white, veggies and vines. It's kind of hard to show the label. It's a very light pastel-y type green, fresh to death. It's a very, very vibrant green, totally tubular, a kind of a tealish color. And this is one of their new summer glitter gels, and this is Beachy. Now, you've seen in the clip that I posted a few minutes ago in the video, that we had all these different glitter colors sitting. And again, like I said, it took about 2 hours to get through that. In the midst of that, I determined, you know what? Let's just put one glitter over the entirety of the ombre, just because it will have the same base. Some of those glitters didn't have as much like iridescence, a different undertone of iridescence. So this was definitely the answer, and I'm so happy with how it came out. It relieved some stress because I was going to ombre the actual colors and also the actual glitter. So I had to work a little smarter, not harder. So I'm removing the tacky layer from the nails that I used the clear Jimmy Gel, just because I want to go in shape a little bit. just a little bit, because we don't want to file off our design. So I always encourage people, if you're going to be doing a permanent design, which we are doing because this design will be encapsulated within the nail. That's why I call it permanent design, because the only way you're going to get it off is if you take off that nail or you file it down. So we're not at risk of like chipping off the design or wearing away. So I'm going in and regaining my shape. Like I said, we don't want to file off that design, and if we have the shape too far off, you'll start filing it in and you'll remove some of the color, some of your design, some of your ombre, some of, whatever you put in there. So definitely get your shape pretty good before you go in with a permanent design. I'm kind of tapering some of the sides if they're a little bulky, because we don't want these nails to be thick and bulky. It's going to take away from our design. We want it to look elegant and still nice. So I removed the dust, Pro Cleanser. I'm going back in with tack. Did I need to? I don't think so, but it doesn't hurt anybody. Tack just makes sure one thing sticks to another, adheres to another. That's more proper. So I'm going to be using the #1 Bling Stylist throughout this process. Also the Light Elegance Gel Polish brush, the stripey brush, and I'll show you guys all of those later in the video. For now, what we want to do is we needed another color. And so the best way, if you want to blend two colors together, is to mix both of the colors together in about equal amounts, and you'll get the true transition color, which is absolutely great for ombres. This needed to be, because we have 5 colors, 5 crystals, 5 dots, so we needed a actual 5th color. And because there was such a difference between that totally tubular like blue teal color and that fresh to death bright green, we literally made another color. And you can we wanted to lean this just slightly more on the blue side. And that was just a creative decision that we made. Shout out to my mom. She was very, very much, I don't think hands-on. Well, technically, if you watch later in the video, she was hands-on. Let me give her credit. She was very hands-on and instrumental in helping create this set. Although, of course, she left some of it to, the professional. But, I say it all the time. She's the one who gives me the eye that I have. And, that perfectionist little tinge that I have that comes straight from her. So here we go. Now, I wasn't 100% sure how I was going to approach it, but I felt confident about it, okay? So I'm starting off with that blue color. I wanted that color at the base, at the cuticle area. I thought that would look real cool, because it's not a dark color, but we'll just say it is a darker color, but it's not a dark color. You know what I mean? And I love how that can look at the cuticle area. It just gives this cool look. So I definitely wanted the blue up there. So I started off with that. I went from more pigmentation to less. As you see, I'm using a dry brush and kind of feathering it down. I'm over to the side on my silicone mat. I'm wiping off the color on the brush just so there's none on there, and we can kind of fade it down. And then I cure. In between all these colors that I'm applying, I'm curing. So if you see, quickly, I will take my brush to the side. Right then, I'm wiping off excess color. So I seen some videos of people doing ombre. It seemed kind of counterintuitive. They would swipe. You see them going swiping from top to bottom to fade it up. And I was like, that don't make any sense. You would think you would brush it down to fade it down, and you would brush it up to fade it up. But now you see I'm fading the top. I'm wiping it off and just slowly going. I don't know. It worked a little bit. Now, this isn't the cleanest ombre ever, by no means, but it did the trick for this effect. So I really enjoyed it. And I actually thought, in the grand scheme of the designs, I thought the hand with the dots would be the simple hand, and this would be more difficult. That's not how it ended up being. This hand was not more difficult. It was tedious, but not really difficult. Those dots, on the other hand, difficult. And that was really deceiving. So you see how I'm swiping up? That's what I was saying. That's how I thought, how I traditionally think I should do ombre, especially in this. But when I did it, I didn't like it. So you see me just swiping down, and for wiping that brush off and swiping down. and it worked. Yeah, so I went with it. I had the sponge, I had the little fluffy brush from the Selena Ride-In collection out, and I never ended up using it. I tried this and it just kept looking okay. So every time I swipe down, for the most part, I'm wiping off the brush. Swiping down, wiping it off. You see? And that's what gave me this transition. So I went in and I did a second coat with most of these colors. I didn't add too much footage of that, just because it's basically me doing the same thing, just, intensifying the color, especially the green. A few sets ago, my mother said, I'm really wanting green nails. And I decided, now it's probably 3 sets later, you know what, let's do green. We were going to do this ombre last time, this vertical ombre, all this other stuff. She forgot about it is what really happened there. And she came in with a tie-dye picture. And it led to this. And that's how it goes. If you watch one of my recent videos, I talk about how nail inspiration can just transform. It was the set that she had before that you see in the clip at the beginning. If you watch that video, I really talk about how you can start with one thing as inspiration and just, based on the client's needs, wants, desires, it can kind of transform, but still be completely inspired. So we had tie-dye and it came to this, and you'll see it in that dots. You see a little bit of that tie-dye effect come through with that design. So as you can see, I'm adding the white and we're doing the same effect. Now there's so much lint that's happening and I'm like, where is it coming from? I don't know. She's not touching anything and I can't even blame her. Like, I see her not touching anything. We have my mask. Dust is not happening. Like, I don't know where it's happening, but we're living with it. So there's like one piece you see protruding out. Once you put the glitter over it, it's just fine. You don't see it. So like I said, I go in with the second coat to kind of intensify the colors, to make that ombre a little bit better. And I really concentrate. You'll see it ends up being that fresh to death, that bright green. That's the color she really wanted. Literally in the buttercreams, like I said, about 3-4 sets ago, she's like, yeah, I want a bright green like that. Green nails. It's so unusual for her, but that's what she wanted. So I had to make sure that I intensified and had that green really, really coming through for her in its full vibrancy. So you can see I'm really paying attention to that. So I did end up, I flipped her hand and blended it upward, just so we didn't lose that transition color that we made, the one we mixed up. And then I cured it. Now I'm going in with that beachy glitter gel and just applying a thin layer over it, and getting the, concentration that I want. I wanted to make sure you can see it. It was on there, so I didn't want it too thin, but I didn't want it to cover up the blend too much. And as you can see, those little inconsistencies, inconsistencies is my best word right now, that we had from that lint and everything, it just completely disappears once that glitter is on there. And any kind of issues with the actual ombre are kind of hidden by the glitter as well. And I literally, very cheesy, I said yes when I put the glitter on, because I felt like it came out so well, like with my hands up, like a cheesy movie. I was like, yes. And my mom was like, what are you saying yes about? I'm like, this ombre, it looks so good. I did it. The 5 o'clock special. So I'm really happy with how this came out. Super. Like I said, I thought this was going to be the difficult part, and it wasn't. It was just tedious. So anyways, we have to now encapsulate our design to protect it and build our strength, our apex. So I'm going in with Cool Gel. I applied a slip layer, as you can see, and then I'm going in and building it up. Now, with building on this length of nail and the amount of product I need, that gel will start to kind of fall to the side a little bit. Now, it's not touching her skin or anything like that. I'm building up that product, floating, staying on the surface, real light touch, and just manipulating it. Then I'm going to do something you don't see me do often. Not that it's bad, but I flip her hand over and use gravity to my benefit. So I'm moving her finger where I feel appropriate, then she flips it over, puts it in the light. And all that product that was trying to kind of fall down the sides, it moves towards the center, and we get that apex in a much more beautiful shape, one that we don't have to shape as much as well. Again, as I say always, builder gel is easier to file than acrylic any day, Sunday through Sunday. It's easier to file. However, if we can make ourselves less work, why not? So, what's the point in letting all that product ooze over to the side? And ooze is my best word. It's the word I've chosen today. And, we can get it to go towards the center of the nail to build strength, not to waste product, and reduce our filing. Because, again, we filed our shape pretty well before we actually applied our ombre or anything like that. So I will, want to stick with that theme and keeping our shape pretty good. So once I get enough product on there, I'm kind of moving it in. And he's kind of moving and flowing towards her sidewalls, not touching her skin. If I let that happen, I feel like it's gone too far. So I'm keeping it away from her actual skin. And then I'm making sure everything's covered and then going and flipping her hand just to kind of move more of that into the center. And I'm holding her finger down just to make sure it's at the right angle so it doesn't run towards the free edge too much, towards the cuticle too much, or it goes wherever I need it to go. So again, going in with the same method, slip layer. I like to apply a slip layer every time with different coats. So when you see me apply that Ideal Pink Jimmy Gel, I did the same thing. If you need to work in layers to build up your nail and your apex, do so. There's no shame in that at all. Seriously. So if you didn't feel comfortable building this up how I am, especially this cool gel like encapsulating, getting an apex, do it in 2 coats, 2 layers. That's just fine. Because I'd rather you do that than have it going everywhere. You lose control. It's touching the skin. It's running. Do it into, thinner layers that you can control. So you see how wide this is looking, right? I'm just getting the product, making sure, especially on the stiletto, you want to make sure those points have some thickness to it because there's less width. We still need a good amount of product so it doesn't break. So you see how wide it looks, especially around her sidewalls. So I'm going to flip it over, like I said, and let that product, it'll start running towards the center of the nail. And again, I'm holding it where it needs to be so it doesn't run too far to the left, right, forward, back. I'm just monitoring that. And once I feel it's right, I'm going to flip it over. And as you can see, that product has settled. It's not wide like it was before. So now filing and shaping. And now I shaped off camera. And I debulked this a little bit with a regular carbide bit. I didn't get footage of that. But I'm going and refining any lumps and bumps, getting that cuticle area nice and tapered down, getting the underneath clean and everything like that with the shaper bit from Light Elegance, which again is a crosscut style bit. It's a diamond bit. For this, I'm using at about 13,000 RPMs. And then I'm going in, like I said, refining that surface. You can see me using my thumb. I'm checking for any lumps or bumps, inconsistencies, making sure the weight feels right. You can kind of tell if we have too much product on the left side, the right side, and all around the nail. So I just like to go in and check that. So again, I'm using that top corner, that 90-degree corner at the top of the bit to taper in around the cuticle area. You see I'm getting that nice, clean flush, and then going in through the entirety of the nail and refining it even more. Now, I am a person who kind of over encapsulates. Even though I didn't want it running off the side and everything, it was a little bulky. But I like to start off with more and bring it down slowly so I know I'm not filing off my design. You know what I mean? That's just my style. So we're getting ready to do these dots. I'm going to be using super shiny the gel polish brush. And this is the stripy brush from the Selena Rydin collection, Light Elegance. So the super shiny is, of course, to encapsulate, to top coat these nails. I use it for all the nails, just so you know. And look how beautiful that is. That's really the moment. Like right when you put the top coat, I should have like dimmed the light so you could really see it look amazing. But yeah, here we are. Look at it. It's just so satisfying and wonderful. And I really, really like how it came out, if I do say so myself. So, and like I said, she didn't come in the door thinking we were going to do anything like this. But she got her green, cute. Like I said, this is for vacation nails. So I think they're definitely vacation perfect and ready. So now we're going with this dot hand, and this gave me the blues. So I'm using the back of, at first I started with, I think, the gel polish brush, and then she didn't like, it was too small of a dot. So I'm using the back of the Bling Stylus from Light Elegance, and then doing the dots. And look at it, I'm flipping the hand over, how I always do, to make sure it's straight, right? Like, yes, look at that. Looks pretty good. It's kind of running into each other, but we're pulling it down as part of the effect. And then you look at it, and she flips her hand over, and then it's crooked as all outdoors. It's so crooked. What happened? I don't know, but we have to wipe it off and start over because she will not accept that. So my mom said, why don't you get a pencil out and draw it straight? And she said that early on, and I didn't do it because I just felt like I got it. And so she said it again, and I was like, yes, ma'am. I will do that. So I'm using a pencil and lightly kind of drawing where I think the center is before I commit to, you know, putting the dots on there. So I flip her hand over just to double check, you know what I mean? And make sure it looks right. And she looks at it, and she's like, well, that middle one still, it looks crazy. So I'm like, here, you do it. And so she's using her right hand, and she's left-handed. And she's like, I don't know how to make it work with my right hand. I'm like, you want it? You like, girl. And I was like, make a little notch at the, you know, beginning and at the end where you think it should start in the middle and where it should end in the middle. What you visualize. So she was able to do that, and I was like, I'll connect them. So that's what happened. I flipped her hand over, flipped it the other way because obviously I need to see it from two different perspectives. And then I'm going to go in and put these dots over that line. And I'm wiping, of course, the back of the stylus thing off every time. I, again, have a silicone mat, and that's what I'm using. Now, I did that. I didn't follow the line completely. I don't know why. I thought I knew better than the line. So we had to wipe that off and start over. Is what happened. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop putting these dots on with her hand flipped. It goes against everything I try to teach, preach, and say. But I flipped her hand over, and then I did it, and it turned out pretty good. And I'm going in, and I'm kind of making the dot wider because it felt like it was a little off. So I was like, if I make it wider, it'll look straighter. And I think it ended up working. And this, y'all are getting the speed pass version of this. This took a while to get this one nail successfully done. And at the end, I was like, no, I pulled it wrong. And then so I swiped it, and I was like, okay, please say it looks good. Please say you like it. And she's like, yeah, I like it. Okay, put it in the light. So I moved on. You see, I messed that up. I put that dot a little to the side. It seems simple, but you have to like look like down the barrel of it to kind of get it straight, but then you can't see the nail. It is much harder than it looks, and it's just stupid little dots. Now, we did, the set was inspired, just this dot aspect. Again, she wanted tie-dye nails, and this is, like, the only essence of that comes through with, like, that pull-through effect. And somebody had done a similar thing with, like, a monochromatic blue. So this specific design aspect was pulled from that, as far as these dots on these nails. So I'm using the Light Elegance nail glue and fiber for crystal adhesion. And so I pulled that pencil right back out because I'm like, you know what? I learned my lesson. I'm a good kid. You know what I mean? Good kid. Listen to my mom. And so I pulled that pencil back out, and we're going to apply our crystals with the glue. And to apply, I'm going to be applying bullion, micro beads, caviar beads, whatever you want to call them. And I'll apply that with fiber. So I had this crystal at the bottom. I was like, do you like that? And she was like, that pink crystal at the bottom? I was like, I guess not. So I took that off and replaced it. We didn't plan on that last crystal. I just threw it in because I thought it might look okay. This crystal element we weren't going to have, but my mom was talking, and I was like, let me pull out some crystals. I might have crystals that match. I just might. And lo and behold, I feel, now I've done many and plenty of crystal designs in my little old nail tech life. And as simple as this is, it's one of the proudest crystal designs just because it matches so beautifully. And it really isn't about me. It's about that I have coincidentally obtained almost the perfect crystals to have this design. And they're both, if you're familiar with the glass crystal range, these are shimmer crystals. Besides, there's a white opal crystal at the tip. These crystals have an opaque backing, which I thought was very important for them to look similar. So they all have opaque backing, but they still sparkle, which, like I said, is an element I thought was important. They're not like diamond stones. They have like metal backing, but the actual like glass part itself is colored. Well, I guess for those they're clear, but you know what I'm saying, for other stones, the glass part has most of the color. For these, there's an opaque backing with the color with a different effect on the surface. Just so you know, I can let you into my little design thinking. Now, this was another point of contention in the set. What color beads do we use? Do we use gold or silver? Now, my mom hates gold. But the glitter, the beachy glitter that's on her other hand pulls more warm tone. It has a gold kind of shimmer iridescence. It's like yellowish, goldish. Along with it pulls other colors, of course. And she was like, well, the gold matches with the hand that has the glitter. And I was like, well, let's try silver. And I'm not really a silver fan, but I was really wanting to do silver because I was like, this is blues, greens, they're cool tone. Silver is cool tone. It makes sense to me in my head. So we're comparing it. And I was like, oh my God, are we gonna do this? You wanna do gold on one hand, gold with the hand with the glitter, and silver on the hand with the dots. You know what I mean? Because she was like, the hand with the dots doesn't have that glitter. So it's kind of, the gold kind of doesn't make sense on the other hand. And I was like, let's do it. Let's be bold enough to put gold beads on the hand with the glitter and silver beads on the hand with the dots, right? And I'm more hyped than her. Like, let's do this. And she's like, okay. And so she was like, you know what? I have an idea. Hopefully it doesn't throw everything off. And I was like, what? Let me know. And she was like, let's put some of that glitter on top of the dots. Let's see if it'll take away from it. And so we put it on one. I was like, you know what? I like that. I like it. And she's like, yeah, it kind of brings it in with the other side. And so I'm using the stylus, applying the smallest amount of glitter as I can all the way. I don't do it all the way down because it's too thin at that little tip that fades out. And then that just erased our whole problem because now this has that beachy glitter, which pulls kind of that gold, yellowy, warm shade. So we just ended up doing gold beads on both hands. So I built all that up. I mean, that's how it happened to me in real life. You know, I thought, oh my God, we're going to do something crazy, 2 different color beads. And it didn't happen. So we applied that glitter. And then we're top coating with super shiny. I didn't put in footage around sealing around the stones and everything like that. It was like 10 p.m. We started at like 1 p.m. So yeah, this is our final look, you guys. Look, oh my goodness. I love this set so much. Again, it comes across fairly simple. I mean, visually it kind of is. It's intriguing. We have that ombre. You know, I love to do 2 different hands that still kind of, you know, interrelated hands. They're not the same, but they definitely are related and coordinate with each other. That bling, I'm so proud of. Just because of the chances of me having the colors that went pretty well with this set. You guys, of course, everything you've seen in this video today, I even use the Zippy E-file, the Light Elegance LED lamp. This is a Light Elegance video, but I mean, you guys, I absolutely love this set. I'm so excited to see these nails. I'm going on vacation with my mom, so I'm thinking for myself what I want to do for my nails. It's probably going to be solid glitter. I know my toes. I love taking my LE. I don't do my own toes. I love taking my LE glitter gels to the regular nail salon. They get a little bit confused, but I love to use it on my toes. So, you know, maybe we'll have a little video on that before vacay. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out lightelegance.com. And don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, and let's put a green heart emoji. Green heart emoji. Let's do that. Thank you for watching. Bye.